Hey, all my movie maniacs, it is that time, it is I, and yes, I was playing catch up on a few movies while I was ill on the couch, and one of those films that I ended up catching finally was Curse of Chucky. Yes, Curse of Chucky, the franchise that has survived 25 years. Now, this time around, we get the story of a girl in a wheelchair living with her mom in this really creepy old house, and they get a package delivered to them, and inside that package happens to be a good guy doll. Now, if these folks had paid attention to the title screen, they know that that good guy doll is actually Chucky. Yes, the possessed doll that has gone around killing people for many, many years. Well, he's come to this house for a little revenge of his own from back in the day, and we see Chucky terrorize the girl in the wheelchair and the rest of her family in the big spooky house as he tries to get revenge for actions of the mother from when he was still a human. Curse of Chucky. Wow, you know, this is one franchise that I never thought would really become a franchise. Don't get me wrong, I always loved the Chucky series. It was an interesting take on the slasher film to have a possessed doll killing people. Now, we've seen it in Full Moon's films, The Puppet Master, but Brad Dourif really brings this character to life, so to speak, with his voice, and I really always liked the Chucky series, if nothing else for the humor that they work in, especially in the later installments of the franchise. But this one definitely kind of got back to its more scary roots, though you do still get the Chucky one-liners in here. Now, you get a great cast in here: Chantel Quisnell, you got Fiona Dourif, yes, Brad Dourif's daughter's in here, Danielle Bisutti from Insidious 2, you got Maitland McConnell here from Ninja Cheerleaders, and of course, as I mentioned, Brad Dourif also making some screen appearance in here in a few of the flashbacks. Now, you know, the Chucky's never really been taken too seriously, and you can see why, but in this one, he is a pretty vicious doll, and you do get some scary moments in here that aren't just jump scares. You know, I really liked the story and the legend and how they fit this into the entire mythology of the Child's Play and Chucky storyline. You got Don Mancini behind the director's chair, who also has been writing a lot of the Chucky films. In fact, I think he wrote almost all of them. You know, and him being directing this film like he did the first one, you could tell his style, and it was just, he kept it fun, yet a little bit dark, and a little bit creepy as well. Now, I will say the doll looked pretty good, though I do kind of miss the 80s special effects that they had in here, because there were a few shots with the doll that, while they looked really creepy, you could tell, okay, CGI versus the animatronic doll. So, you know, you kind of had that play in there, and it was noticeable, and it took me a little bit aback with the Chucky character, because you could kind of tell the difference, especially in the eyes. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but it took me a little bit of away, but not the enjoyment. It just is a good old slasher fun. You get some really creative deaths in here from good old Chucky, and you know, it was fun to see the character on screen again. Now, having the main character victim be in a wheelchair did add an interesting element to it and made for some intense moments in the scene, in the movie, which there are. And also, there's a particular scene dealing with rat poison, which I particularly liked, not knowing exactly who at the dinner table had the tainted chili. You know, so I enjoyed that. Overall, it was a really fun slasher film. You know, not phenomenal by any means, no. but it was decent, and they did better job with it than I thought, especially giving it more its horror roots back, whereas Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky really were more horror comedies. And then this one, while it did have comedic elements, really had a more serious tone and really getting back to its roots of kind of being a psychological horror film. I did like the way it ended, though it was, you get an interesting cameo at the end, and there seemed to be like 4 endings to the film, but they were each fun, and each one was kind of an ode to previous films in the Chucky franchise, because it is the 25th anniversary of Chucky at the time that this film came out. So I did like those little nods to the other films, and you know, it's just fun. If you're a fan of the Chucky films, I really suggest you check it out if you haven't already, if you've been kind of holding off. It definitely is getting more back to its horror roots, has an interesting storyline with characters that will surprise you, some creative deaths, and overall it was just fun seeing Brad Dourif once again doing the voice of that crazy good guy doll with a homicidal tendency. So I gave Curse of Chucky 3 stubs. Again, I would say it's one of the more serious films in the franchise, which I know isn't saying much, but it is saying something to see them get back a little more to their serious horror roots than the total blowout gory comedies that the previous 2 films had been. And that'll about do it for us here at The Final Cut. As always, folks, remember, keep that ticket stub.